Hey, welcome back. This is the second video in my Learn Guitar series. Last video we covered how to hold the guitar, how to tune, just kind of basic getting started. Today I'm going to expand on that a little bit and start teaching how to read sheet music. So yeah, let's get started. The first thing I want to cover is a little bit more about the left hand. So in the last video I covered how to hold the neck with your left hand and where to place your thumb and what to do with your arm, your wrist, and all that stuff. This video I want to talk about where to hold down with your fingers. So when we play a note on the guitar, let me switch my view here. We might either play an open string, which means we don't hold anything with our left hand, or we might hold a note behind one of the frets. So these little metal bars are called frets, and they're numbered starting from the end of the neck next to the headstock. So this is the first fret, second fret, third fret, fourth fret, fifth fret, and so on. So just a couple notes about how to hold down the string. You want to be as close to the fret wire as possible. So basically, get a better view here. You don't want to hold your finger here. You don't want to hold it in the middle. You don't want to hold it on the fret wire. That's not quite right either. You want to go as close to right behind the fret wire as you can. And the reason you do that is because, you'll get the same note regardless of where you hold back here, but it requires the least amount of physical effort to hold down the note right behind the fret wire, and you're most likely to get a good sound there. Now let's move on to a little exercise with the left hand. What I want you to do is we're going to play the first fret with the index finger, and again, just pluck with your thumb. Maybe next lesson I'll go into starting to use some other fingers, but for now just use the thumb. So index finger first fret, middle finger second fret. Alright, now important note about this, leave your index finger down when you put your middle finger down, and that's going to be true when we add all the fingers. So next finger, ring finger on the third fret, and finally the pinky on the fourth fret. Great. So let's try that one more time. Gonna 1, first fret, 2, 3, 4. All right. And then from here, we're gonna go backwards. So again, starting with all of your fingers down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, just exaggerate that a little bit. So the reason you do that is when you leave your fingers down, it makes it easier to play notes forward or backwards in a scale. So for example, if we're going up and we want to go back to 1, we can just pick up the fingers that we need to. So that's kind of the pattern we're going to be following here. So yeah, let's see, how long are we? 4 minutes. Okay. Let's jump into reading some sheet music. I've typed this into a program called MuseScore, which is a free piece of software. I recommend it. For the price, you can't beat it. So yeah, just a couple things about how to read sheet music. Today I'm going to cover how to read a couple of notes on the first 2 strings. So that's going to be the, string number 1 is the smallest, highest pitch string. And the second string is the next highest pitch string. So that's first string is an E. Remember, we covered that in the last lesson. Second string is a B. Okay, and just some notes on reading sheet music. The way this works basically is, let me go back to my other camera. So the way this works, reading sheet music, is you read from left to right. How the note looks is going to be how long you hold the note for, and how high it is or low it is vertically on the staff is going to be the pitch that you play. So let me go back here to MuseScore. Okay. So for example, this is a whole note. This gets 4 beats. And let's just talk about what a beat is for a minute. So a beat is basically just a steady pulse. So I'll just snap my fingers now. You know, I'm trying to be steady as I can. You know, you can imagine a pulse in your head, or get a metronome. Metronomes are super useful. Even, you know, all professionals use metronomes pretty much too. So it's not just a beginner thing. It's a metronome is a very handy tool to have as you're learning. And there's plenty of apps on your phone that will function as a metronome. So basically all the app does is just going to make a steady clicking sound that you can make faster and slower. So let's go back to the sheet music here for a minute. All right. So I'm going to cover this first line first. And these are going to be note durations. So these are going to be different lengths of time that we hold a note for. So this one all the way on the left is a whole note. And that's going to be an open circle with no stem. If you look at these others, like the half note and the quarter note, they have these stems coming down from the notes. A whole note has no stem. Okay, so a whole note gets 4 beats. So again, I'm going to snap my fingers at a steady pulse. I'm going to pluck the first string open. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's how you play a whole note. A half note, it's going to be an open circle with a stem, and these get 2 beats. So again, snap my fingers. It's going to be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. And finally, the last one I'm going to cover is the quarter note. And quarter notes get 1 beat. So, you know, with our steady pulse, ready? 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay. So yeah, there's a few more notes, and we'll cover more complicated rhythms later, but those are the 3 that I want to start with. Okay, so let's jump to the second line here, which is going to be some notes on the first string. If you notice the positions of the notes on the staff, there is this first one here that's on the highest space on the staff. That's an E. So it starts with 2 E's. All right. And then it jumps up to an F. The top line is an F. The note right above the staff is a G. And I'll play these in a second. And then it's going to walk backwards. And I'll cover a little more of the sheet music in a second. But the notes we're going to play are going to be the open E. So open first string. Then the first fret on the E string. That's going to be an F. Third fret on the E string. That's going to be a G. Okay? So E, F, G. All right, back to the sheet music. Okay. So just a couple more notes about this line. See, there's a 1 with a circle around it. In guitar music, when you see a number with a circle around it, that's denoting the string number. So that 1 with the circle around us is telling us to play the notes on the first string. And again, the strings are numbered from smallest to biggest. So they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And these little numbers here are actually fingerings. Just for a sec. And the way that fingers are numbered on your left hand is 1, starting with your index finger, 2, middle finger, 3, ring finger, 4, pinky. Okay. So these numbers here are actually telling you which finger to use, but they're coincidentally also the fret number for this line of music. So let's go ahead and read this line from left to right. So remember, these are going to be half notes. So they're each going to get 2 beats. And then when we get to the end, the final measure. Measures are the space between these vertical bars, bar lines. This last measure is going to get 4 beats. So I think I have a metronome on my phone. Because I'm going to need my left hand now, so I can't snap my fingers. Okay. So ready? I'm going to count to 4 and then start playing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, awesome. Hopefully that was not too fast. Let me see if I can slow it down just a tad. Play that line one more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. And great. So yeah, that's the first line. And that my intention with this first line is to introduce you to where the notes are on the guitar on the first string here. So the second line is going to be a little bit more difficult to read, but hopefully it's not too bad. I'm going to skip to example 2. So this is going to start with a half note. It's going to be 2 beats, remember. Then 2 quarter notes. So these are each going to be 1 beat. Then 2 half notes, so 2 beats, 2 beats. Whole note, 4 beats. Quarter notes, each get 1 beat. And the final note, the whole note, is going to get 4 beats. All right, so let's go ahead and try to play it. So ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's not super exciting, but hopefully it's enough to kind of get your feet wet. Normally I would, while I'm giving lessons, I usually come up with a few more examples on just one string. But my recommendation for you is to either download MuseScore and try to type up some of these yourself, or maybe purchase some blank sheet music and handwrite it with a pencil and come up with some of your own examples to practice with. All right. So Now we're going to add a few more notes on the second string. So remember, this is the B string. And the notes that we're going to add are going to be the open B, the first fret on the second string, which is a C, and the third fret on the second string, which is a D. So B, C, D. Okay, so back to the sheet music. Again, the same notation here. We have a 2 with a circle around it. So that's going to mean that everything on this line is going to be the second string. When there's a number with a circle around it, it doesn't mean that everything on that line is that string. It only just means that that particular moment in time is that string, or that note is that one string. But for this particular line, it's all going to be on the second string. Okay, so the note that's right in the middle of the staff vertically is a B. So that's going to be our open string. This note here in the second space from the top is a C. So that's our first fret, second string. And this note here on the second highest staff line is a D. And that's the third fret on the second string. So let's go ahead and try to play this example 3. Start the metronome. And I'll count in 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, great. All right, let's jump to example 4. And these notes are all going to be on the second string. So again, we got half notes to start with. We got a whole note here, 4 beats, and a couple quarter notes, half note, and a whole note. So let's go ahead and play this line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I know that's not super exciting, but again, these are just for practice. And just to repeat, I would totally suggest buying a blank sheet music book or something to write some of these yourself. All right. And now that we've had a little bit of exposure to some of the sheet music, I want to point out a couple other things before I jump into example 5. So the first thing I want to talk about is this weird symbol at the start of each line. That's going to be that's called a treble clef. And that tells you which notes are on the staff. So treble clef is also called a G clef. The reason it's called the G clef is because this is a capital G. If you squint your eyes enough, you can see it. This little squiggly here also wraps around the note G, which we'll cover next week when we do the third string. Let's see. The other thing I want to point out is this 4/4. That's called the time signature. And that tells you basically how many notes or beats are between each of these bar lines. So these vertical lines are called bar lines. Okay. The 4 on top is telling you how many beats there are in each measure. And the bottom 4 is saying what kind of note gets a beat. So this is saying that there's 4 quarter notes in each measure. 4/4 time is probably the most common time. You see 3/4 a lot, 6/8. I mean, aside from that, there's a lot of key signatures, but those are the ones primarily that you see. I would say the majority of the time. Okay, so with that, now I'm going to jump into the final example for this lesson. And this is going to be Ode to Joy, or at least the theme from it. And when I was learning how to play guitar, this is one of the first things that I learned from a book that I got at Barnes & Noble. And I was very excited to learn it when I was first learning how to play. So I hope you guys enjoy it as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and play it first. Then maybe we can talk about it for a minute, just so you recognize what it is. I'll start my metronome. Count 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so chances are you guys probably recognize that. So this is just a simple song, or a simple little piece to practice for this week. And when I say this week, I mean, like, you know, I'm not trying to give you an estimate on how long it will take to learn this. You know, it's you know, it will depend on the person, obviously. And as you're learning, you know, I just want to add too, you know, a lot of people get stressed out comparing themselves to other people. Like, oh, like somebody else was able to learn this. They were just getting started and they learned in like an hour and it took me a week, or like it took me 2 weeks or whatever. You know, it's easy to compare yourself to others, but like, you know, don't stress about it too much. You're only really racing yourself. I'm sure you're learning guitar or music for your own enjoyment. So, yeah, do it at your own pace, and take your time, and you know it'll come eventually. So yeah, let's play this one more time. I'm gonna do it a little bit faster, and then we can finish up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, let's go back to this other view. So, yeah, I would say, you know, download a metronome on your phone as an app, or purchase a metronome. You know, you can get an old school mechanical one if you just, you know, enjoy it. I used to enjoy having one sitting on my desk, but I always end up breaking them, or, you know, I got a couple kids now, so I'm pretty sure they broke my last one. So I just use my phone. So yeah, as you're practicing, you know, practice at a slow tempo. You know, start with a slow tempo. If you need to start at like 50 or 40 or whatever, you know, do that. Then just, you know, slowly speed it up. So yeah, the last thing I want to add, in addition to practicing reading those sheet musics and examples, and learning that little Ode to Joy snippet, One little exercise, I gave this one earlier, where we do frets 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, to expand on that, another exercise you might like to do is playing through the notes that we just learned. So starting with the second string open, go 0, 1, 3, and then go to the first fret, the first string, 0, 1, 3. So we're just playing those 6 notes. B, C, D, E, F, G, and backwards. G, F, E, D, C, B. And yeah, that's probably enough for this week. Next week, I'm thinking I'm going to cover the 3rd string, maybe the 4th string in open position. Maybe start getting into plucking with more fingers aside from your thumb. And I hope that was useful for you. If it was, please like the video and subscribe if you would like to get notified when I upload another one of these. All right. Thanks. Bye.